There's an unease in the air. There's sort of a dark feeling I have about the country. I've been in the area of constitutional law for 30 years, and I'm very, very concerned, especially about civil liberties. But if you just look at what's happening in the world, terrorism, a global military empire is developing, which is draining our economy. There's definitely a global police force that's forming. If you watch footage of what's happening in different countries, the police look very similar now in the outfits they're wearing, the sort of Darth Vader look. The president in our own country has an amazing amount of power. He can declare people enemy combatants. This is American citizens, and you'll disappear, at least for a while. You'll have to have a good lawyer. You'll need a lot of help. The government can still secretly listen on our emails. There's all kinds of pervasive things. We're moving into a surveillance state. So, something very, very ominous is happening. Maybe what's more troubling to me is President Obama came in with a lot of promise and hope that he was going to change a lot of the things that George Bush was doing. The Bush administration committed a lot of bad things in terms of civil liberties. All the things that I've been talking about here, listening on our phone calls, searching websites for what people are saying, all those things were happening under the Bush administration. Clear civil liberties violations. Two recent developments with the Obama administration emphasize what I'm talking about, the fact that it's continuing under Obama. Recently, President Obama in an interview attacked some of the key civil liberties cases that came down in the 60s and 70s, such as giving lawyers to poor people who can't afford lawyers. The Miranda warnings that people are given their rights when they're arrested. President Obama has a disdain for those cases. They're so-called liberal cases to him. And more recently, his Attorney General, Eric Holder, has said that in terrorism cases, they basically want to do away with Miranda warnings, giving people their rights. And this would include American citizens. For example, if for some reason they don't like what you're saying, you're considered an extremist. And remember, Janet Napolitano in the Department of Homeland Security issued a memo saying that extremists, and the word terrorist was used with extremists, are people who oppose President Obama. You could wind up in a very precarious situation. You wouldn't be given your rights. Miranda warnings. Basically, you have a right to remain silent. Anything that was said against you will not be, anything you say before you're given your rights will not be held against you. Those are very, very important things. The Supreme Court came down with the Miranda case in 1966 for a number of reasons. They saw that police were taking advantage of people they were arresting. People were saying all kinds of things they shouldn't be saying. Remember, we're American citizens. We have a right to remain silent. We have a right under the Sixth Amendment not to incriminate ourselves. So what the Supreme Court required was that we have the police, when we're taken into custody, arrested, that we are given our rights. This is to protect us as American citizens. These are rights that were guaranteed in the Bill of Rights. And the Supreme Court wanted to make sure that the police respected these rights. Now we see that the Obama administration doesn't even like these opinions, and they're going to try to undermine them. They're even going to ask Congress, supposedly, for a law to get around Miranda warnings. In Naomi Wolf's book, End of America, which came out in 2007, she cataloged all the civil liberties violations that we were seeing under George Bush at the time. And this is a left-leaning writer who saw Obama's hope and change, but now she's come out in a recent interview and said Obama's even worse than George Bush. He's moving forward and basically legislating all the things and getting them even more entrenched in power, so she's very concerned. And what she said at the end of this particular interview is that she's shocked that the left wing's not getting it. It's like they're asleep. But I would say this, not only the left wing is not getting it, most Americans are not getting it. We're clueless of our rights. We don't know basically what's going on. We have total faith in the political process. Somehow these politicians, the people we're voting to, are going to work all these things out. Well, I don't think anymore that it's Democrat or Republican that we're looking at. We're looking at politicians. And I think that what we need to really emphasize and really work on today is how we're going to resist a lot of these policies that we see coming down. A lot of people are talking about violence, but I think the answer is really strong nonviolence resistance that people like Martin Luther King and Gandhi and some of the other great dissenters in history have practiced. We have to get active. We have to know our Bill of Rights. We have to know what the Constitution says. And we have to fight to keep those great decisions that Obama supposedly doesn't like now as part of our law, so that as American citizens we can remain free in the so-called land of the free and the home of the brave.